Hey everybody, Tim here with today's review of Doctor Who, story number 29, The 10th Planet. This is it. This is a really sad story. It is the last regular appearance of the first Doctor. So I'll kind of get a little bit more into that after I do the main story. So overall, I would say this is a great story. It's a really fun and interesting one. Towards the end, it does kind of pander out, like they didn't quite know what to do, but I feel like it did kind of hold its own. This story also introduces the Cybermen, who is one of the biggest villains in Doctor Who, so that's kind of cool. It is 4 episodes long, and the first 3 are intact. The last one is missing, but it has been animated, so that's kind of cool that it's basically they're all intact. So the crew arrive in Antarctica on the South Pole, and it's kind of funny because they're in the Arctic base and they're like snow, 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 and more snow. And that's kind of important later on, which I'll come back to. We realize that it's December 1986, so kind of once again the Doctor misses the target and now they're in the future, even though I wasn't even born yet. And they find out that there is another planet out there, which, I mean, for a lot of us now going on these days, in the last like 10 years or so, there's been like a huge debate about like, is Pluto a planet or not? Personally, I will always think of Pluto as a planet, standing by Pluto. So that's where this title comes from, is it's the 10th planet, because if you do count Pluto as a planet, there's 9, and then this is the 10th one. Whereas now that they've taken his status away, this story doesn't really make sense. So anyways, this planet's coming towards Earth, and the Doctor knows like what this planet is. Like, he knows all about it, which is kind of weird. Although we've seen that in other episodes where we go to planets, and he's like, oh, I've been here before, it's no big deal. So the Cybermen come down out of their spaceship, and it's the planet Mondas, which is basically the twin planet of Earth. So like all of the continents are kind of upside down, but you can clearly see the resemblance. As a standard Cyberman story, like the episode plays out kind of cliche, even though it's the first one, where the Cybermen are trying to take over, but the Doctor and everybody's trying to fight them back. Mondas finally does explode, and the Doctor describes it as melting. And we see like the Doctor pass out because of all this radiation poisoning and stuff like that, which is what finally wipes out the Cybermen. And it's kind of what actually kind of sucks the life energy out of the Doctor as well. So finally, the Doctor ends up running away, which again is important, which I'll come back to. And then Ben and Polly, after everything's kind of done and over with, go after him, and he goes into the TARDIS and he passes out, and he like lights up, and then he turns into somebody different, Patrick Troughton. So overall, I would say it's a great story. It's a really interesting story, and it's a great setup for the future of Doctor Who. So, a little bit of behind the scenes, William Hartnell, it's no secret, was having a lot of trouble with the dialogue, with his lines. He was kind of getting up there in age, and especially, I mean, you can go all the way back to some of the first seasons, where especially with Chesterton, he would fumble over his lines, and because they couldn't afford to redo it, like, some other actor would have to jump in there and be like, oh, I think this is what you mean, and kind of cover it up. So that's kind of going on, and eventually it kind of led to this story where it was time for him to leave, to retire. So they came up with the regenerating, although they don't call it that now in like the Fourth Doctor, I think, where he is able to basically take over a new body, and that allowed them to continue the show with like Patrick Troughton as now the second Doctor. So it's super interesting. It's a lot of fun. So like I said, this is the first regular appearance of the first Doctor. We do see him a few more times. Like the 3 Doctors, which is the 10-year anniversary. The 5 Doctors, which at that time William Hartnell had passed away. So it's a different actor. And then most recently, we saw 1 and 12 team up in the Twice Upon a Christmas, which takes place during this storyline, which is, like I said, at the very end, where the Doctor kind of runs away, and then Ben and Polly have to chase after him. While he's away from them, the Twice Upon a Christmas story kind of takes place. So it's kind of interesting, and I like how they do kind of keep bringing the First Doctor back, because he is important. I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble with the First Doctor because, I mean, they don't talk about Time Lords, they don't talk about Gallifrey, he doesn't have a sonic screwdriver. There's a lot of stuff that they hadn't quite developed yet, but he is the First Doctor, and he does have some really great episodes. So I'm really glad to kind of go through these first stories. We just did 134 episodes, even though it was only 29 stories. So thank you guys for watching all of these First Doctor stories with me. Thank you guys for all of your inputs and your comments and all of that. It means a lot to me, and I'm really excited to go to the Second Doctor. I have a lot of fond memories of him. So I'm looking forward to continuing on through the journey of time and space. So thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for The Power of the Daleks.